What's poppin', yo? Yo, I never thought that I would just be rooting for Rory and Mal in this situation. Not because I have any particular issue with either of them or them as a group, but just because I feel like I'm really out of their world and they don't really have problems with anybody. Like, yeah, you've got Mal, Glaze, and Drake, but they're hard to hate on. You can't really hate on those guys. But this started with an interview that Rayvon did at the BET Awards with Rory and Mal. So I'm going to play you guys that clip right now because I know you guys are going to think, you guys have to agree with me when we get into this a little bit later.
What about the Drake? What about the Drake glazing?
What about it?
That ain't for the clicks?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
I'm not no Kendrick glazer. I'm gonna say Drake is talented. I'm not gonna kill Kendrick.
I didn't kill Kendrick.
Yes, you do.
I didn't like that
you
song.
Do.
One song.
You did not.
They killing me now because they pulling up that about Mr. Morale. And I was like, yo, this shit is incredible. The concert was incredible. I said all of that, but because I said I didn't not like us because I'm not jacking calling somebody.
I'm not opposed to a nigga be like, oh, I don't like the song.
That's all it was.
That's not.
But the internet only hears the current. They forgot about what I said about Kendrick before the battle.
But once the battle happened, it's the same with academics.
Oh, but that's my. I gotta ride with my man. If we playing ball right now, you gonna root for the other. You gonna root with your man.
You facts.
Exactly. That's always been my issue where the narrative has gotten lost with everything that Maul has been saying. Because Maul's been bigging up Kendrick since I met him. So when this happened, obviously UTDE, West Coast, and I started talking about no matter what happens with Kendrick, that's our guy.
As you should.
So why, when it comes on this side, that's his man's for real. He's not allowed to.
That's my man's for real.
And that's what I respect.
That's what I'm saying
So that's not glazing. You supporting your actual friend is not glazing to me. That's why I don't like that word glazing. Yeah. I think that shit is weird. Also, I think it's like pause.
That word is lazy. Using that word is lazy. You can use something else. Yeah, you can use something else. Like ride for his man. All right, cool. You supporting your man. Just like you were supporting Dot, I'm supporting Drake. That's all. Right or wrong. Right.
So this just sounds like a regular interview, not a regular interview where people are just being interviewed, but you could see like, okay, this guy's from TDE. He's trying to push back on Maul's glazing of Drake, which we all know is a thing, and Maul has admitted it on multiple occasions. That's my man's. He gives me info. That's my guy. I'm riding with him. I don't care. The same thing that DJ Head said about Kendrick. He will be riding with Kendrick no matter what. And Yachty, on the other hand, he's a little bit fence-sitting, but hey, it is what it is. We like Yachty anyway for his music and just for his contributions the past decade. But some time passed after this, and then Rayvon was on an interview with Gina Views and DJ Head, and he comes out with this clip.
You sat down with Rory and Mal.
Yeah.
Like, for us to be able to just talk about this,
not to cut you. I went and sat down because I'm like, when I sat down, that was so strategic of me because I'm like, yeah, no, I want you to sit in front of me and talk crazy like you talk.
Did you tell Mal he was you like the way he was built?
I hate the way he's built. But that's not my like. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
still trolling.
That's not my. That's not my call. But I really went over there to be like the energy to see if the energy is the same as it is online. It is not. And then you know what I'm saying. But it wasn't like when we had a conversation. It's like it's.
But you know what I had to realize, bro, and this is something that I also had to understand because that's not the world I come from. It's like, it's content. I just learned that last year.
Fact.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but we know how words work, and we know you could say how the words are going to be interpreted, because we can't say somebody was trying to imply something unless we really, really, really know for sure. But we know that this individual, Rayvon, knows how it's going to come across to the public if he said, I pulled up on him to see if the energy was the same, and it wasn't. It's like, what energy are you talking about? If anything, it would be towards Kendrick Lamar. You're not Kendrick Lamar. You're Rayvon. You're the guy that just got a record deal, supposedly. Hey, you got blessed by Joey. Joey gave you the biggest boost to your career of all time, more than TDE could have done. So thank Joey. Thank the East Coast. And then you've got Rory and Mal reacting to this, mainly the woman that helps them out with the show. I don't know. I haven't really watched the show. When I see the clips, I see Rory and Mal. But she goes on and gives her perspective, and she lights him up. And by him, I mean Rayvon. So I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
clear about what we're talking about. I'm not gonna say no. I'm not saying names.
Okay,
I'm not saying names. And no free. I'm not giving you. No, let me tell you. I'm not giving nobody else no more free promo. No more free promo around this bitch. Because I done came out and said to y'all, hey, let's be unbiased about certain things, regardless whether y'all think that Mal is biased when it comes to Drake. He's admitted his bias when it comes to Drake. That is what it is. That's his friend. We let that rock. Whatever. But when it comes to people who have straight on Mal, had little raps about mediocre raps about Mal, we done came and gave props. We done came out here, been unbiased, judged the whole in that whole New York versus West Coast battle. We came out here, we were unbiased, we gave props, we linked diss tracks, we said, yo, go check this out, go listen to this, all in the name of hip hop. But for people to go on platforms and to still stand on business, tell lies about the way that certain things went down when they were interviewed, that's lame as because we never had to mention you. You mentioned this hundreds of times for attention, and we never had to mention you ever. Like, let's really talk about it. Gave you props, gave you a platform to talk, did all of that, and you still circled back and did some lame ass that's disrespectful, it's corny as and it tells more about you than anything. You too old for shit like that. You might not know how old you are. You too old for
he lies about his age, so
you too old for shit like that. That's corny. And I'm tired of y'all
how long she been cooking, P?
I'm tired of y'all sitting up here. No, because y'all give a lot of props that other in this media space don't do. Y'all give platforms and spaces to smaller artists, whether y'all like them or not, whether they put little corny disses out about y'all or not, and y'all don't have to do that. To talk about y'all all day, say Drake Glazer all day, corny all day, but y'all are still real as and give props when props is due. I swear to God, the next time y'all do that, I'm knocking over all these black magics. We not giving nobody else no more free promo. I'm over that shit. I'm done.
Welcome to my party, baby D.
So here, I totally get where she's coming from. She's like, hold on. We had a discussion, and then after the discussion, you're going on talking about you're trying to be this tough guy. And that's exactly how it's interpreted. So I wanted to see if the energy was the same. What energy? These guys, they had the same energy. When you look at Mal and Rory talking to this guy Rayvon, does it seem like any different energy that they had about their opinions than when they're just talking amongst each other or when they're talking to anybody else? No, it seemed the same energy. And then we go on, and then that girl, she's really upset because she didn't even want to mention Rayvon's name anymore because she's like, yo, we really just showed you support when you were going at it with Joey, and we were unbiased, and we weren't like tagging you with us not liking Kendrick necessarily, well, Mal in particular. He didn't penalize you for that. But it seems like anybody that has anything to say about Kendrick is getting penalized by everybody at TDE, which is just sucker behavior considering the guy won the beef. Like, how can you win the beef and then your team or the people around you is acting so just fragile? It's like, dog, you've got like a heavy duty box. Don't worry, nothing's going to break. So Rayvon goes on Twitter and he says the following in a tweet. He says, wait, who I pissed off? My mention's going off. And then he delivers a video where he explains this whole situation, and let's see if it helps him out at all.
Yo, what's the deal? I'm just getting on here to address this. Do this real quick, real brief. Boom. Rory and Mal show, the shorty on there, I don't know your name, and I don't mean no disrespect, because I don't know your name. The one who's like crashing out over nothing. Y'all got to get it together. Y'all got to really, really, really get it together. I know the narrative is like, oh, his age, like this nigga lying about his age. I hear 35, 33, 32. Everybody know my age except me, I guess. Like, I would get on here and post like this, but it's like, all right, for sure, get him something to eat off of. Because if I post my ID, it's going to be, oh, that's fake, or it's going to have people. So I don't even give a about that. Believe whatever y'all want to believe. I really don't care. Like, I really, really, really don't care. So y'all keep pushing that narrative. And then two, the shit with me, Rory and Mal, when I went and sat down with the BET Awards, I pulled up on them to see if the energy was real in person. I pulled up on them to see if the energy was real in person. Nobody set that up. Why the f would I just go sit down with and I know that it's smoke on the internet to look like that. I pulled up because I wanted to see if the energy was real in person because it felt personal. So I'm coming to, if somebody's in my same vicinity, I'm going to address the issue. That's it. That's all it was. That's it. I pulled up, sat down, we had a good conversation. That's what the it was. That's it. Like, all of the like pop, like, that's what I said I did. Of course, I shot a little fat jab at Ma. Like, I'm a flame that forever, like, period. Flame me forever, and that's cool. But all the other, like, and you a woman, miss, like, respectfully. Like, that don't got to do with you. That don't got to do with you. You feel me? And Ma, like, we had a conversation. The conversation we had was a decent conversation. I didn't get on Gina Views and them talking like I'm this big dog. I said that. I didn't go over there. I went over there to see if the energy was the same in person. I didn't come. I know a couple places y'all was at, and I could have pulled up, but I ain't thought that was gangster. So stop playing with my name. Put some respect on my. I ain't do all that. I let rock. Like, I let rock. I pulled over there with normal energy. I pulled over there with energy, of course, because I wanted to see if y'all's was the same. And it wasn't. It was like, oh, this is content. So I'm like, okay, for sure. I'm taking it too serious. Let me chill the fuck out. That's it. But don't make it like all this. Like, y'all gave me a platform with the mediocre this. You didn't have to give me a platform. Y'all didn't give me no platform. I was already gonna go viral for doing what the fuck I did. And it had nothing to do with just Mal. It was all about Joey. So just leave that shit alone. Like, this shit ain't even, let this shit go. Like, let this shit go. We almost at the end of the year, and y'all like harping, like, let this shit go. It ain't even none of that. Rory and Mal, you already know. Like, we already chopped it. If it is what it is, and leave it at that. If it's not, then what's up? Like, what's the deal? Other than that, just leave it alone.
He captioned this video, cut it out, and this, I got secondhand embarrassment from watching this. Number one, the guy's got the smoke alarm going off, the smoke detector beeping. It's like, dog, how are you in a nice place like that? And this, how's that beeping, man? What the hell is there? But then he's talking about, he doubles down on it. Yeah, I wanted to see if the energy was like that. And I knew where you guys were at. And I could have pulled up, like, come on, man. Like, I hate hearing that. Like, yo, I could have, I would have, I should have. Like, dog, are you serious? Well, like, maybe you should have. What? And then you see the energy that they had. What did he expect? And he's like, yo, I wanted to know if it was personal. What do you mean personal? These guys' jobs are to talk about hip-hop. And they're talking about hip-hop and the music. How could it be personal? They don't know you personally. This is just what blows my mind. And then the funny part is, when he's talking about Joey in a separate interview, he makes it clear that it's not personal. And it was just, rap beef, or like it was a rap battle. So here you are, clout chasing. Let's keep it a buck. You're clout chasing off Joey, who you are inferior to in every way imaginable, as a rapper, as a lyricist, as a commercial act, as you not being independent, him having been independent for the majority of his career for how he blew up. You are just his inferior in every regard. And he blessed you enough to go back and forth with you when Kendrick didn't want to touch him at all. Just goes to show, like, yeah, Kendrick's really for it, huh? Anyway. And you say that's not personal. Yet these guys whose job it is to talk, you're saying that you felt that it was personal? What? And this just makes me look at TDE so different, because you've got the situation with Punch, right? Who blocked me. I'm just going to say that like a million times. But you've got the situation with Punch, who's upset at anybody who says anything critical about SZA, right? That's one individual. Then you've got the people that pulled up on academics. What was it? I don't think it was just Anthony. It was Dave Free mainly, because Anthony Saleh wasn't always TDE. He just works with Kendrick. So you got Dave Free and I think someone else pulling up on academics saying like, yo, we thought this was personal. And he's like, what do you mean personal? I'm doing my job. Maybe he has a personal relationship with Drake, but you've got them thinking it was personal. And then you've got this guy Rayvon thinking it's personal. So it seems like every single one of you TDE members or affiliates thinks it's personal that people aren't fond of Kendrick Lamar's music when you guys won the beef. Why would it be personal? Nobody knows you guys. And I don't mean that as in they're not popular. Nobody knows Kendrick either. Nobody got relationships with Kendrick. So they're just talking about the music. And a lot of people said he won. Well, the unanimous thing is that he won. So for him to pull up And then I just really didn't like it. Usually it's like Mal, especially back when he was on Joe Budden, where I would see clips. I'm like, okay, here go this guy. But in this case, Mal is completely right. This guy handled the situation exactly as he should have. And keep in mind, when he's talking about, if it was that energy, what energy? You asked him about the Drake glazing. It is what it is. Now, this is a completely different situation. If Rayvon pulled up and said, yeah, I thought about pulling up on you another time. I knew you was over here, but, I let that slide. Now, if he had said that, Rayvon, and then the energy was different for Rory and Mal, that's a different story. Or maybe Mal in particular. But you didn't say that. You didn't insinuate that. It just sounded to them like, hey, we're sitting down with the TDE guy. We know they probably aren't too fond of us because we're not glazing Kendrick or we're not on Kendrick's side. It is what it is. But we can have a conversation. So that's really mature from Rory and Mal and immature from this dude who, I don't know if he's lying about his age. Frankly, I don't care. I don't care if he's 32, 35. They say he's 28. If you're 28, you're beyond a grown man. You know what's going on here. So this was just whack behavior from Rayvon. And it just makes TDE look like the most fragile record label when you see like time after time this stuff's going on. It's like, dog, revel in your victories. Like Rayvon, like you're going up right now. Like you don't got it. You got to just be like, yeah, we got a relationship now. It's just, it comes across as just like it came across that he was on a West Coast platform because that was Gina Views and that was DJ Head, and it came across like he was trying to come back from having been, in foreign land, if you want to call it that, and be like, yeah, I just had to check him for a little bit for our coast. That doesn't look cool. And it looks like to me that you were just trying to puff your chest up and get approval from this West Coast platform who we don't really hear conversations about outside of the West Coast. Whereas Rory and Mal, they're doing their thing this year. But let me know what y'all thought about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all in the next one.